And I'm here with your weekly fishing report. So right now we are gonna first I want to talk about rockfish. So there's a lot of things happening and a lot of things changing right now. So several good things, just like last week's report, live lining is still the general consensus of the way to go. So spot are everywhere up here. You can either bottom fish for spot, which is going to be fishing mostly bloodworms around structure like the Bay Bridge pilings or oyster reefs, things like that. But spot are fully in the upper bay, so they're no problem to catch. We also sell them here. The best places to go are going to be the Bay Bridge. The eastern and western rock pile, or eastern and west sides of the bridge are producing nice fish. Anywhere really from 10 feet of water to 30 feet of water live lining. Live lining is still good up at Love Point and anywhere between Love Point and the Bay Bridge. So the schools seem to be moving in and out of those general areas there. We're also starting to see people start getting back into chumming a little bit. That kind of had fell off for a good while. Seen some boats do well at Pedickery, Hackett's, places like that. The trolling bite is also starting to pick up. So right now, a lot of people are still trolling plastics, 6-inch, 4-inch plastics in tandem rigs, umbrella rigs, things like that. But the main reason people are starting to troll again is mackerel are up, and mackerel are always a short season for the upper bay. But you can catch them with smaller spoons, which work well for rockfish as well. Now, generally, you speed up for mackerel, but you can always slow down and kind of work the in-between. Just to show a few lures that people are using right now. So trolling spoons for mackerel are a little different from what we usually use from striped bass. So these are some Clark spoons, some drone spoons, and number ones, and actually hardhead custom baits, which if you know these guys, they make a lot of jig heads and stuff. They just came out with a new spoon last year, so those are apparently just like the drone spoons. They work really well. The big difference between that spoon and a regular spoon we use for striped bass are most of our spoons wobble more. These have more of a spinning action, so they're actually meant for speed trolling. They can handle fast speeds, whereas your wider spoons are going to tangle up your leaders and things like that. Most people, because of the weight of the lure, will fish them under planers. It's just a quick way to get them deep. So the planer planes down, the fish hits your lure, and it pops. So that way you're not reeling weight instead of reeling your fish. Right now, I think most people have the farthest up. We've seen those as right around Thomas Point, but they'll kind of move in and out. They generally move very quickly. So even by the time you've seen this video, for all I know, they've been catching them up at Hackett's. So definitely get out there and try that if you can. That's usually right along the channel edges, 20 to 30 feet of water. You'll usually see them breaking in massive schools. You can also cast to them. So you can troll through higher speeds or you can cast. So same type of deal, you're going to be using a fast retrieve, and so we are usually using slim metals like this. So this is a 1 1/8 ounce Sting Silver with a single hook on the back, and we have these little reflector jigs that Sting Silver makes as well. These all work great. And then the GI Jig Rain Minute, which I know a lot of people are using right now. We should be getting a ton more of these in this week. Oh yeah, and I forgot, of course, the Hoagie Epoxy Jig. That's another really great one. Has a lot of flash to it that you can just cast and retrieve quickly. So that's about it for the rockfish right now. White perch. So white perch are all in the creeks right now. You can catch them just throwing spinners out like Super Rooster Tails, our Bert's Perch Pounders, or just fishing bait. But they're also on a lot of structure and on a lot of these hard bottoms. So right now we're seeing a lot of people starting to use sabiki rigs and rigs of that nature. So sabiki rigs are generally known as a 5-hook rig. We sell one that they actually make for the Chesapeake, which is why it's called the Chesapeake sabiki. So this is actually 2 rigs, only 2 hooks on it, so it's legal for Maryland. I just used one of these yesterday or the day before, jigging at the bridge for perch, and we creamed perch. No bait on them. You can just jig them right off the bottom and they'll hit on it. So definitely use that, anywhere from 5 feet to 20 feet of water. You can use these, and of course you can tip them with bait. This is the same type of rig I'd use to catch spot, just with a piece of bloodworm on top of it. So crabbing right now is still pretty slow on the upper bay. Down south they are starting to do better, but up here, other than people catching some larger size crabs, which is nice, the quantities just aren't there. So that's still been pretty poor. Croaker, we are still getting a few reports here and there, but not too much to speak of on that front. Snakehead, that seems to actually, if anything, be picking up right now. I feel like the cooler weather will probably actually help that. So fishing those with minnows and spinners is going to work really well. And then I guess lastly would be the catfish, which are still in abundance all throughout the bay. So definitely go out there and chum with fresh L wire, any other sort of bait you might have. And I think that's it for this week's fishing report. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.